tutorial is going to cover strings. Before we begin, make sure you have Java and the Java JDK downloaded on your computer. You can run java-version in your terminal to check. Also make sure that you have IntelliJ downloaded on your computer. It's suggested that you watch the previous Java tutorials in this same playlist. What are strings? Strings are another type of variable. They aren't primitive though, they are objects, which means they have methods associated with them. Strings are a collection of characters. Objects will be discussed more in depth in a later tutorial. So declaring, assigning, and updating strings. To declare and assign, it's just like declaring and assigning with primitive types. It's string s equals example string, and it's in quotes with multiple characters. And then to update, it's s equals s plus after update. So in this case, the final string value would be example string after update with a space. Indexes of strings. Indexes are used to track down the characters in a string. Strings are zero indexed, which means the first character in a string has an index of 0, the second has an index of 1, and so on through the entire string. The index of the last character in a string is the length of that string minus 1. So here's this example, penguins rock, and P is 0, and K is 12 because the length of this string is 13, minus 1 is 12. And all the intermediate characters are at the indices that make sense for a zero indexed object. So here are some string methods. s.indexOfString returns an integer, which is the index of the start of the given string. The index of the start of the given strings appears in s, and it's -1 if it's not found. s.length is the number of characters in the string. s.replace string 1, string 2 replaces every occurrence of string 1 with string 2. s.substring index 1 to index 2 gives the characters in the string from index 1 inclusive to index 2 exclusive. If index 2 is omitted, it grabs till the end of the string. s.to lowercase gives you a new string that's all lowercase letters. s.to uppercase gives you a new string with all uppercase letters. And s.char at index gives you the character at a given index. And this isn't exactly true. The first two return integers, all the rest return strings, and s.char at index returns a character. Under the hood. Whenever a string method is called, the string isn't edited. A completely new string is created and returned. The same happens when a string is added to using plus. This is because Java strings are immutable. So some string test methods. s.equals s-string returns whether or not the two strings contain the exact same characters. s.equals ignore case returns whether the two strings contain the same characters, ignoring upper versus lowercase. s.starts with string determines whether one contains the other's characters at the start. s.ends with string tells you whether one contains the other's characters at the end. And s.contain string will tell you whether the given string is found within one. And all these methods return booleans, either true or false. The null keyword. Null is a special value for strings and other objects. It means the variable is equal to nothing. If you try to run a method on a string that is equal to null, you will get a null pointer exception, a type of runtime error. We will talk about how to deal with null variables and exceptions in a later tutorial. So this is how you set a string to null. It's string name, I called mine null string, equals null. And null is not in quotes. If you put null in quotes, it'll be equal to a string with the word null. So we're going to do some string method examples. Let me split my screen. I'm going to right click, new Java class, string methods. Double click to make the left pane go away. And now public static void main string args. Okay. So I'm going to create a string first. String name equals Megan. It needs to be in quotes, Megan. And this gray is just telling me that it's never used. So I could create an all uppercase version of my name. So string uppercase equals name.toUppercase. And this returns a new copy of Megan all uppercase. It doesn't actually edit name because, like I said earlier, strings are immutable. So I could do system.out.println my name is system.out.println uppercase version plus uppercase. So I'm going to do run string methods, and I got my name is Megan, and then an uppercase version, which is Megan all caps. So I could create string meg equals meg, and I could say boolean starts with meg equals name dot starts with meg. System.out.println starts with meg plus starts with meg, and this will give me either true or false. So if I rerun this method, or this class, I'll get true, because it does start with meg. And I could just keep doing this for an example of all the different string methods. I'm going to do an example of substring next, because I think that that's really illustrative. We have string sub equals name.substring of 1 and 4. System.out.println sub plus sub. So this will go from index 1, which is E, to inclusive to 4, which is in exclusive. So it should be just printing ega. Run it, which it does because the in's not included, but the E is. I'm going to say char at 3, which should be an A, is name.char at 3. System.out.println char at 3 plus char at 3. Great, it's an A, just like I expected. So you can just keep going on your own time playing with all the string methods. So, and remember, if I do name dot, I'll get a list of all the possible methods that I can use, which is really helpful whenever you're trying to remember what's going on. And as I type, it'll give me a list of the ones that just contain whatever I'm typing. And that's it. I hope that was helpful.